Now, on Monday evening, Prime Minister Boris Johnson outlined plans to offer 14 million people the coronavirus vaccine by mid-February.
So could that mean summer holidays will be back on this year? Simon Calder is joining us now from a practically deserted Gatwick Airport with his view. Morning, Simon.
Morning,
Lovely to
Simon.
see you, as always. So the million-dollar question, should we book a holiday in 2021?
Well, I think you definitely should be dreaming, you should be planning. That's exactly what I'm doing at the moment. But of course, we have seen so much misery caused by holidays that didn't go ahead and people being unable to get refunds, as well, of course, as the immense upset of people simply not getting the escape that they need. It's really, really important that people have something to look forward to. And what could be better than a holiday? Normally here at Gatwick, well, it's a hub of human happiness. It doesn't feel like it very much at the moment, but it's really important that you have some vision of what you want to do. But of course, there's going to be lots of people watching who are uncertain about the health concerns that they may have. Clearly, if we can get 14 million people vaccinated by mid-February, that would be wonderful. If the most vulnerable can be protected, then we can start easing off. But at the moment, there's basically a blanket ban on travelling for fun. But once we do get started, it's so important to consider how you're going to book. Absolutely, the best way to do it is to talk to a real human travel agent. At the moment, that will probably have to be on the phone rather than face-to-face, and book a proper package holiday, because then you know either you'll get the trip that you absolutely need and deserve, or you will get your money back. But just to manage some expectations, I'm expecting prices to rise. TUI, the biggest holiday company, has already said that their selling prices for 2021 are 1/7 higher than they were in 2019, the last proper year. And we're going to find that there's fewer holidays, might not be something from your local airport that you would ideally like to see, and you're probably going to be paying a bit more. But frankly, my passport's seen so little action, I'll pay anything and go anywhere.
Well, the bins have been out more than I have.
What about flights? I mean, if you were to book flights now, say, before the sort of price hikes go up, is that advisable?
Well, there's some extraordinary deals out there. I mean, I'm seeing, particularly if you're prepared to take a chance for early March, you can go to Greece for £15 on a well-known low-cost airline. But of course, if things go a bit wrong, some airlines are going to say, well, the fact that you are still in lockdown, you're not allowed to travel, isn't our problem. The flight's still going, so your seat's there. Either you just lose it, or you're going to have to quite possibly pay extra to change it. That's why, if you're thinking of doing a DIY holiday, which sometimes has some merit, and lots of people do it, of course, I would hold off for a while. If you want to commit to something, make it a proper package holiday. But I tell you what, some of the deals I've been seeing makes it look as though you'd be paying kind of mid-market prices for bargain basement holidays. So hopefully people will be able to kind of scrape enough together to pay for the deposit for a trip. But you're not going to find too many bargains in the main holiday seasons, which of course is, well, the travel industry hopes it's going to start promptly in April for Easter, and then carry on May half term, and then into the main summer months as well.
Well, you can understand the travel industry attempting to claw some money back here because it has been decimated by this. But I'm interested to know whether you think it's controversial, whether it's the right way to promote the air. This is Ryanair. This is their jab and go advert. It's sparked some controversy. The campaign started on Boxing Day when much of the UK was under COVID tier restrictions banning international travel. But the advert, and as you say, you've got to look forward. You book your holidays now. Nothing wrong. We can't take people's dreams away. It is a risk, but hopefully you'll go. But they say COVID vaccines are coming, so book your Easter and summer holidays today with Ryanair. What do you say to that?
Well, I say that Ryanair, once again, is being as provocative as it can. If anybody fondly imagines that they will be delighted if you haven't had your vaccine by the summer to hand you your cash back, well, I'm afraid they're mistaken. One positive from this campaign, I think, is that we will actually get, I hope, some action on what happens to those people, thank goodness, who are now being vaccinated. My mother-in-law, 90 today, she's getting her jab today, wonderful. And what happens to those people? Are they going to get a proper internationally accepted certificate which says that you present no risk or you've been vaccinated? We just don't know yet.
Simon, the thing with that is, though, that if you look at the timing here and what we're being told about March or April, and if there were such a thing as this passport, then the airlines would only be able to take those top tiers of people who have been vaccinated. So that's the over 80s, over 90s, the vulnerable, the frontline workers, quite rightly. I mean, they're the ones that deserve a holiday more than anything. But they can't take the families because, you know, if you're 20 or 30 or 40 or 50, you won't have been vaccinated, so it means nothing.
Well, exactly. And are we going to have some kind of international common standard which says that if you have been vaccinated, that's fantastic news. You won't need to have a PCR test as you do if you're going from here at Gatwick, say, to France, Spain, to many the Caribbean, many other destinations. And it might be that your vaccine will be an alternative accepted instead of the vaccination.
But you could still be a carrier. You could still carry it.
Well, exactly. There's so many uncertainties, so many unknowns, and Ryanair isn't exactly being terribly helpful or accurate, pretending that because the vaccine is, thank goodness, being rolled out, that everything's going to be easier. It certainly will be easier because, of course, every country which is vaccinating its population, once they have got the most vulnerable sorted out, then they will be in a position to say, yeah, we're going to be a bit more relaxed about who we let in. But at the moment, you have to assume that you're going to have a test before you go to your lovely holiday destination. And furthermore, we're expecting news quite possibly later today about how at last 10 months, I think, after the airports started calling for it, we might well have testing for people coming into the UK. No agreement on that yet, but another thing to bear in mind. It's an incredibly complicated business being a traveller these days. It will ease up, but it's taking time.
Just before you go, just because obviously the other thing that's affecting travel at the moment is Brexit and the rules on travelling within the EU. Just kind of in a nutshell, really, just explain how that's affected.
OK, well, the main thing is you've got to check your passport validity to make sure that you're going to be let in. Go to the government's passport checker. Good news on Christmas Eve. We found out that your driving licence is still going to be acceptable abroad. You don't need an international driving permit. And if you've got one of these, a European health insurance card, well, it is still valid. And there's a new global health insurance card, which is also on the way. It says global. It's actually going to give you slightly less coverage than the European one, but still no details on that. But it's a lot easier than we thought it might be on those. Other things to bear in mind, if you're taking your cat, your dog, or even your ferret abroad, that's got a lot more complicated. And it also applies if you're going from Great Britain to Northern Ireland.
Thank you, Simon. Thank you very much indeed. Well, I love that new card. So the new global card gives you slightly less than the European card did.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
That makes perfect
Very well
sense.
named, that one.
Very good.